The funding for this video is provided by the amazing members of our Patreon. Also contributions from viewers like you. Thank you. Yeah, I started from PBS Kids. What you gonna do? Fight me? Anyway, roll the video. It looks like we're talking about some real clown shit today. And not the hot clown shit. No, it is hot clown shit. Anyway, for those of you guys who do not know, clownery has a racist history behind it. Are we surprised? No, because for those of you guys who don't know, that if you are in America, literally it's built off of racism. So things like this honestly are not that much surprising when we find them out. If you've been following me for a while, you are pretty familiar with the term minstrelsy. And if you don't know what minstrelsy is, let me give you guys a bit of a refresher. Minstrelsy is the act of a non-black person getting in costume to look like a black person and air quote act how they think a black person acts. Basically, it's just white people liking to bother black people all the time in this day and age and found new ways to pick on them. And this right here has resulted in so many of the issues we have with racism within film, because white people just wanted to make fun of not just black people, but anyone else who wasn't white, straight, and Christian, and a man to a certain extent. Let's take Tom and Jerry for example. Mammy Two Shoes was a character in the Tom and Jerry series created by William Hanna and Joseph Barbera. These short cartoons were created in the 1940s and the 1950s. The plot's essentially the same as the early episodes. Tom, a cat, employs strategies to trap a mischievous mouse, Jerry. Tom comes closer to capturing Jerry, but, alas, he is outsmarted by the mouse. This recurring plot began in the first episode, Puss Get the Boot, in 1940. In this episode, Jasper, the original name of Tom, is tricked by Jerry into breaking plates. Mammy Two Shoes throws the cat out the house, and she drags Jasper out of the house, and she says, "And when I sees out Jasper, I mean out. O-W-A, oh my god, O-U-W-T, out." During the Jim Crow era, it is common for animated cartoons to feature racial caricatures and stereotypes. In Tom and Jerry shorts, there were no exceptions. After explosions, for example, the blasting face of the characters transformed with black skin, large lips, and bow-tied hair. In the episode Mouse Cleaning in 1948, a temporarily dark Tom is parodied by a black man or a white minstrel to get out of trouble with Mammy Two Shoes. This tendency to play the racial attitudes of the white audience, who also evident in the episode The Lonesome Mouse in 1943. A terrified Mammy Two Shoes climbs a stool to escape Jerry. The mouse shook the stool with her clothes and began to fall off. The shaking is also dislodged in the diamond ring, false teeth, and a pair of dice and straight razor. And y'all favorite rat, Mickey Mouse, has done a minstrel show before too. Mickey's Melodrama is a Mickey Mouse cartoon that was released on March 18, 1933. Summary: Mickey and the gang stage Uncle Tom's Cabin, but the crowd receives Horace's villainous performance as Simon Legree too seriously, bombing him off the stage with vegetables. Clarabelle's dramatic performance as the fleeing slave is also ruined when dogs that are supposed to be chasing her are led astray and through the orchestra pit by a cat. What the hell, Walt Disney? Ooh. In this day and age, minstrelsy comes in different forms, from blackfishing to having a black scent. Blackfishing is a form of blackface, which is the practice of dressing up as a black person. A person may be blackfishing to gain attention or financial resources to mimic black people and culture. Blackfishing often occurs in digital spaces where it's easier for a person to edit their photos to appear racially ambiguous. In some cases, people claim to be black, but in others, they might present themselves as racially ambiguous or incorporate elements of black appearance or culture without making any specific claims about their race. Some examples of blackfishing behavior includes a person using image editing tools to darken their complexion or change their facial features to appear more black, claiming to be black, especially on social media, speaking in a black accent or use the African American vernacular English, appropriating traditional elements of black culture or aesthetics, such as wearing dreadlocks. Blackfishing is not accidental. A person is not blackfishing if, for example, their skin looks darker in a photograph because of the lighting. Blackfishing occurs when a person deliberately exploits racial ambiguities to profit from blackness despite not being black. And also another thing that I want to bring up is when non-black voice actors use black accents to voice black characters, it's kind of offensive. Overall, our society has an issue with numerous memes poking issue at black culture that does not need to be shared with y'all for the most part. So, you guys have quite a bit of information now about the subject of minstrelsy. Let's move on a little bit to amphibia. If you guys don't know what amphibia is, I'm pretty sure you do if you're an animation fan. But amphibia is a beautiful tale of a Thai girl who finds herself and comes of age with her two best friends, who also one of them is Asian just as well, Team Marcy over here. Very beautifully animated. Would you care to tell me why this shit right here was in amphibia? Just gonna go ahead and say this right now. Black people do not like it when y'all make these memes and share them around. They find it absolutely offensive, and you, the other party, should listen to them and stop making them. It's not about how funny you find it. Black people have stated numerous times that they find these memes to be offensive and that you shouldn't share them. These pictures fall into the same category of the hot Cheeto girl meme. And if you're not familiar with what the hot Cheeto girl meme is, bless your heart, thank God that you are away from that. But basically what people call a hot Cheeto girl is basically a non-black girl that presents herself as black. She acts air quote black, or how they think a black person acts. They have the glossy lips, they have the laid down edges when that don't really be looking right on your head, but anyway, they have the long acrylic nails, and they're constantly eating hot Cheetos because apparently that is something that is negatively associated with black women. Basically, these hot Cheeto girls are performing minstrelsy in real time. It's not an act. Well, it is an act, but they're not putting on an actual show to entertain people for money like it has been done back in the day. They have made minstrelsy their entire personality, and we see nowadays that a lot of these non-black women are owning up to the fact that they were wrong for this and have moved past it. At least you learn, baby. But also, if you guys want to know another modern day form of minstrelsy, the Kardashians, they're literally clowns. That family is full of clowns. Now, moving to the issue with amphibia, as we have some education on what kind of meme they were creating and the history of clownery. If that statue in the mall was just a regular clown, okay, fine, whatever. The history of clowns is extremely problematic, but it's just kind of gotten to a point where seeing clowns is pretty much normalized, and a lot of people that are clowns are not racist. I am fully aware that a lot of people have clownery as their career, and a lot of them are nice people. They're not racist. They just want to entertain people and make them laugh. I understand that. A lot of people just don't understand the dark history behind clownery. So we already have addressed it. If it was just a regular clown, fine, whatever. But then they went and added the nails to it, and now it's offensive because now they have added the nails to it. It is now officially a hot Cheeto girl meme, and we see the picture of it. We see the afroed hair. We see the big lips. Yeah, that is a minstrel caricature, a racial stereotype right there now, and we can't ignore it. One thing about Amphibia is that they ended up making a minstrel character by accident, I'd say, because it was just a big trend on social media at the time of season 3's production, where this was what everybody was spreading around for laughs and giggles. And if they paid close enough attention, they would have saw that this ended up getting debunked and it was called out for being wrong. As I said, people would take these pictures of non-black people, especially because you really don't find these edits with black people. Like we have this clown here in Amphibia, the skin is white and they edit them with black hairstyles. As we see, that clown has an afro, big glossy lips, and they're not really glossy here, but the lips are pretty big, and then the long acrylic nails. All three of these things are heavily associated with black culture, and people were creating these figures as a way to make fun of black people, like they usually do oftentimes on the internet for their personal gain. Like, y'all know how people are using those clips from black reality shows when you can go find a similar one that exists with a white show? Yeah, this literally was that all over again. Hi everyone, the captain here. I just wanted to get on here real quick and tell you guys thank you so much for your support. I have gotten so much fan art from you guys, and I've met plenty of y'all in person at the conventions that I have been at. And also thank you guys so much for coming to the panels that I host. It means so much to me. You guys are so great. I appreciate every little last bit of support you guys give me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I can say thank you 100 times, but I truly do mean it. Thank you. Okay, I'm actually very pissed off right now because I just recorded I just talked for like 10 minutes straight and the shit didn't record. And this is because I'm recording on the back of my phone because I don't feel like setting up my camera. And this is just something I felt more comfortable speaking about on camera. I most definitely didn't want this video to be super duper long like my other ones, mainly because this was just a small problem in an overall big series, I'd say, like Amphibia, and I don't want to feel like I'm just dragging this out simply because it was done out of ignorance. But also I most definitely think the team behind this program should have known better about this issue right here. I have the my few notes that I have right here. I'm gonna try my best not to sound like I am repeating what I said when I thought I was recording, so let's fucking go. Amphibia is a progressive show, I'd say. And when I say that, I mean it is a show where the main character is a Thai girl who is of darker skin and is portrayed as human and not a stereotype. Because you know how Hollywood is nowadays. This is why I am very big on supporting independent creators, because overall Hollywood is built off of racism, homophobia, misogyny, all of those bad, nasty things. So for us to see something beautiful like this come from that just kind of shows how far we've come. But then there's also a lot of work that still needs to be done. But usually when we are talking about Asian people, a lot of people tend to think that Asian people are just pale and light skinned. And while a lot of them are, and they do deserve to be represented within our media, a lot of the dark skinned ones don't really get that type of shine either. Like, I remember a lot of people were complaining about don't toy with me, Miss Nagatero, for the wrong reasons. And one of them wrong reasons was them complaining about the girl being dark skinned. Well, she wasn't necessarily dark skinned, she was of darker skin, which was one of the few things about that production that wasn't a problem. There was nothing wrong with Nagatoro being brown skinned. It's just something that a lot of people are not used to when it comes to the subject of Asian people and their appearances. But a lot of these people are of darker skin. A lot of them are brown skin like me. A lot of them are darker than me, okay? And those people deserve to have representation within our media just as well. And then also another thing I appreciate about Anne's character design is that her hair wasn't like super duper straight. It was bushy, and I like that because a lot of Asian people have bushy hair just as well. And that's something I really liked when it came to Priya and turning red too. How her hair was like kind of bushy and her skin was brown skin. I really did enjoy that. And also we did see that Anne wasn't portrayed as like, you know, the stereotypical Asian character where they're like, oh, they're super duper smart and they get good grades and they're like a leader and everyone follows them. Like, no, we were allowed to see Anne fuck up and we were allowed to see her grow from her mistakes. She didn't stay awful the entire time. She grew and became a much better person. I thought it was so sweet how she took everything she learned from being in damn Frogland, amphibia. I just be calling it Frogland. I'm glad that she took everything that she learned there and she decided to apply that to her life to better herself and not just like the people around her, but she did this mainly for her. And I do love how she ended up applying this to her career in her early 20s. With that being said, this is very disappointing, amphibia, okay? Y'all should have known better than to put some shit like this in your show. And yes, we can praise amphibia for what it has done for both storytelling and representation, because I've never really seen another story like this specifically in Western media, because I don't like isekai. I don't like isekai. I am most definitely not a fan of it. I'm very picky when it comes to my anime, by the way, for those of you guys who don't know. But I actually was able to like an isekai. It's just a story I've never really seen of where a girl gets transported and she lives with frogs. Like, what the fuck? It sounds like a weird concept, but it actually starts to work when you get used to the show and the characters and all that. Like, it's one of the greatest things we've gotten in the last few years that has to do with originality. But this ugly ass shit being the clown shit is not getting a pass, okay? Because it was wrong. It's just something that was wrong and we have to own up to it. I love amphibia, okay? It's cute. I adore it. But I can't act like there wasn't minstrelsy in the show. I'm black. I can't ignore things like that. And for you guys to be a show that has a team full of people of color, you know, behind the scene, created by an Asian person, and then you have your cast be full of people of color just as well, y'all should have known better. Y'all most definitely should have known better. Not to put a figure like this that makes fun of black people within y'all series. Like I said, I just think it was just something, I don't think this was done out of malicious intent. I want to make sure I say that. It wasn't done to be mean. It's just, Amphibia is a show that takes place in modern day. And you notice when you watch the show, because in season 1, we find out that it does take place in modern day, because there's an episode where Anne is like watching a reality show on her phone. And we're like, oh, okay, so this does take place in about 2019. Because 2019 is when the series came out. I'm pretty sure it is 2019. But, you know, a lot of things haven't really changed wise when it came to technology, because TikTok was a thing in 2019. That's when it really kind of started up. But then it blew up the next year. I get that. Like, I understand they wanted to be in with the times. They wanted to be hip, like we would always say when we're like making fun of shit like that. I get that. And that's an important part to the story. But they just kind of, it felt like they just saw it as meme. And was like, oh, this is what everyone's sharing around now on social media. Let's make sure we put that figure in there. But I really just feel like they should have thought a little bit more about putting that in here. They should have done a little bit more research and they would have known better. But you live and you learn. We make mistakes. Like I said, I don't think they put this figure in the series to be mean. And I'm not gonna like, oh, you guys shouldn't watch Amphibia or like start an Amphibia hate chain or anything like that, because no, it's still a great show, still very much beautiful, but also when it comes to things you like, you kind of have to own up to the fact that there's just harmful things within them. And yeah, there was minstrelsy. Cause I work hard to get to this point in my life. I'm blowing up, so don't hate, just congratulate.
Powerpuff Girls will just blow your mind. Buttercup like villains 3 at a time. Bubbles will smile while kicking your butt, and Blossom will lead them out of their rut. Cherish and Powerpuff, 2 of a kind. Both wanna save the world before bedtime. From Townsville, Memphis, New York to LA, the Powerpuff Girls are just here to stay.